Hello everybody and welcome to an episode of Going for Goldbridge, and I'm going to be talking about Love Island, not because it's trending or I thought it would be an interesting video to do, but because it's been going on for a few years. I've never watched it, and last night I watched the very first show of this series, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Also going to be taking some of your questions as per usual, but let me just first of all say that, look, I am not a snob when it comes to most things, and I'm certainly not a snob when it comes to TV. I've seen a lot of people saying, don't watch it, it's for plebs, it's for idiots, it's the dregs of society, and yet these people probably watch EastEnders. So, look, I am going to put my hands up and say that I used to love Big Brother. Not the recent crap, but like when it first came out, I was, relatively young at that time, was in a job I hated, and I couldn't wait to get back home, and I'd look forward to watching Nasty Nick and Krieg and all that lot. That shows how, that was series 1 probably. So I used to like Big Brother and the concept of it when it first came out. So I don't mind reality TV. I think it's got its pitfalls, but I don't mind it. So what was my thoughts on Love Island? Well, I'll say straight away, I will be watching it again, I must admit. It had me hooked in a really cringe sort of way. And I think a lot of things, if you're ever going to write TV or comedy or anything like that, I think when you look at, if you think about The Office, if you think about Fawlty Towers especially, the cringe comedy moments in there where you're like, oh God, I can't believe it. But you watch it because it's not you, it's somebody else, and it makes it very, very watchable. I do immediately pick that up from Love Island, where I'd never watched it before, so people who watch it, they're probably going to go, oh, he doesn't even know anything about it, and people who don't watch it are probably going, you're an idiot for watching it. But effectively it started off with 5 girls, 5 guys, not the burger place, and the 5 girls stand there in a row, and then one of the guys comes down and they have to step forward if they like him. And then if 3 of them step forward, the guy picks the girl he wants to be with, then another guy comes down, etc, etc. But the girl, they all get paired up, and they might be with somebody they don't want to be with. It's just very, very cringe. And I think the funniest bit was one of the guys, before he came on, they have the intro video, I'm a player, I might end up with a girl, but then I might end up with their mum or a cousin because I'm a player. He struts down and nobody steps forward, and it's like burned, absolutely burned, on national television. But I also think that the Adonis bodies that most of these people have, the lads and the ladies, I suppose, it's an unrealistic representation of what people should aspire to be, I suppose. However, you see it in the pubs and the clubs on a Friday, Saturday night. Not me. I don't do that anymore. I'm a little, I like to be in bed by 10 o'clock, tucked up in my pyjamas, watching repeats of Fawlty Towers or something like that. But I doth venture south occasionally to the, not in the bedroom, that's disgusting. I mean, down to the pub. And I do see a lot of these lads, they're ripped, I suppose that's the word, isn't it? They're tight jeans, they're big muscles and everything like that. Which is great if you want to do that. But I must say, when I was a lad, when I was 16, 17, 18, I would say 99% of us were not down the gym. It just wasn't what we did. Oasis were big then. You were down the pub in your Adidas Gazelles, wearing, your hair, your curtains, and smoking your B&H and everything like that. That's what was cool then. Whereas now it's all about being ripped and everything like that. So I suppose it's more healthy. But ultimately, I suppose that's one thing I would pick up on Love Island straight away. It's the representation of, this is what beauty is. This is what it is. It's the Botox. It's the muscles. And I think that's really inaccurate. As somebody who's been on this planet a few decades, I think it is really inaccurate. I think of some of the happiest people I know, and they ain't down the gym. They're not fat bloaters either, but they're not down the gym. They're like, they love their life and they enjoy their life, and they're just normal looking people. Whereas this aspiration that I've got to have big biceps, I've got to have big boobs, not men. I've got to have a nice tight arse. Maybe that can be men as well. But I think that's a negative of the show. But I suppose it's TV, isn't it? And TV's always been like that. I think as a reality TV show, it's just very, very cringy, and I think that's what makes it watchable. There was a guy in there who'd been paired up with one girl, and within the first 24 hours, he's going up to another girl saying, "I quite fancy you," and blowing his bridges with the girl he's with and pissing off the lad who's with the girl that he wants to be with. Then they bring another 2 lads in who've got no, so there's 7 lads and there's 5 girls now. Oh, God, what could happen? Gangbang, who knows? But, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Gangbang, some people might think that's a vulgar term, but, they all sleep in the same bed at night as well. I'm like, I just anyway, 2 new lads come in. They're going to fancy one. They're going to get a couple of the girls, which means they're going to leave the guy that they're with. So it's all very, modern, isn't it? It's all very modern, I suppose, the way this exclusivity works. I mean, I was on about this before. I don't know whether it was on this channel, about how you can be in a relationship with somebody now, but if you're not exclusive, you shouldn't be annoyed if when your next date they say, I slept with a bird last night. Don't matter, we're not exclusive. I'm going to pop in the toilets and give someone a blowjob. Doesn't matter, because we're not exclusive. And that's sort of the modern society relationship, that's the modern relationship thing that we have, that, again, 20 years ago just wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like that. If you were seeing somebody, it was exclusive. But, this Love Island thing, you're paired up with somebody you might not even want to be with, but then you've got to sleep in the same bed with them. It's all very loose and free. It's very 60s, I suppose. So I will certainly watch it again. It was intriguing and it was entertaining. It's not highbrow entertainment. It's certainly in the gutter, but there is so much crap on the TV these days. I mean, I flicked Channel 4 on a couple of months ago, and about 11 o'clock at night, and there was 3 naked people in a tube. You couldn't see the top half of them, but you could see the bottom half. And then there's a presenter and a contestant next to them going, I like the look of that. I like the look of that dick. I like the look of that. I like the look of his legs. So, God knows what the name of the programme was, but nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me. If there was a new series coming out next week on Channel 5 called Crap on My Face and I'll Tell You What Family Member It Is, it's probably been thought of. It probably has. So it doesn't surprise me. So yeah, I will watch it again. I sort of watched it as an experiment last night. I will watch it again. I think as there's no football on over the summer, so as a show to sort of watch, it's fine. But what it certainly is, as we move towards the questions on Twitter, what it certainly is the people who go on that show, and obviously some of them want to do it because they want to get famous and Instagram followers and whatever. I hope they realise that they're the guinea pigs. They're the test tube babies. They're they're not. You're not there because people think you're going to be the next Robbie Williams or the next, Piers Morgan or somebody who's actually got a talent. You are there to be scrutinised and entertain us as they put you into more and more cringeworthy situations. So, which is sad in a way, because they all go in there, look at me, I'm beautiful, and look at me with my big muscles and my big boobs, and actually, you're just there to be ridiculed. That's what the whole series is about, which I suppose goes back to the Jeremy Kyle thing being taken off air, isn't it? Because, as I understand it, there's a few people who've been involved in Love Island who unfortunately have taken their lives, and I think that's nothing to do with the quality of the show. I don't think that shows should be taken off air because of that, but I think that the danger with these shows is that people, especially in the modern world, are becoming, you get that 7 minutes of fame, as they call it, and then it gets taken away from you, doesn't it? And it's how people deal with that. So hopefully that will change with modern TV, and people will be given the right support for that. But I don't think we should have any qualms about the fact, whether you like Love Island or whether you hate Love Island, the contestants who go on it, I hope they go on it for the right reasons, and they realise that actually you are there just to be ridiculed. There's not a lot of credibility coming out of a show like that. It is a TV show, and reality TV, when it's done well, is effectively real life soap opera, isn't it? Anyway, let's take some of your questions. Get your comments in on Love Island below. You might think I'm an absolute idiot for watching it, but there you go. Do you think you could spark out Anthony Joshua, says Bobby Shmurda? No. I think, very, very quickly on that. I didn't even watch the fight. I do like boxing, but I was just very tired, and I'd been travelling a lot, and I fell asleep, and then I woke up, made the mistake of looking at Twitter, saw he'd lost, so I thought I'm not going to watch the whole fight again. And I think that with regards to him, that heavyweight boxing, that's the genius of it. I remember Buster Douglas knocking out Tyson. It can happen. You can get knocked down. And, it might be good for Joshua's career. It might be good for his career. Who's the fittest bird on Love Island? Or are you more of a personality kind of guy? Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. Top 3 favourite. I'm not going to do football either. Why don't you play for United Stand FC, says United Forever? Because you know what? It's a good point, this, and I'm going to answer it in a non-footballing way. I've obviously got the team United Stand FC as the manager, and a lot of the players that we're playing against, a lot of the players we've got, they're in their 20s. And when you get to my age, which is knocking on the door of 40, then you just can't do it. You cannot do it. There's a reason, and I don't need to use me as an example here. There's a reason most footballers are done by mid to late 30s. You look at David Beckham when he played for United the other day. The technique is everything's there. The fitness, he's still very, very fit. But when you get to a certain age, if you put David Beckham in a United team now, he'd be crap. He would be crap. Because if he wasn't going to be crap, he'd still be playing. You get to a certain age and your body physics and finesse and fitness and agility just starts to wane. Your brain doesn't. It's very frustrating, but your body does. So that's why I don't really play for United Stand anymore, because that's why I don't really play football anymore. It's because you're playing against lads who are at their peak, and that's the answer there. Your favourite things about Ireland, says David Duggan. I think sitting in a pub in Dublin. The atmosphere is always great, and I always like that. And whatever the time of day, it's great. It's absolutely great. Do you like... I've done lots of questions about Love Island, so we've answered that. Favourite alcoholic beverage, says Jake Green. You know what? I'm a bit of a... like you've got seasons like autumn, winter, summer, spring. I don't know whether there's any else. I'm like that with my drinks. So over the winter, I'm quite partial to a red wine or a Guinness. As we move into the summer, I quite like a G&T or a bottled lager. So yeah, I'm quite seasonal about what I drink. Like a whiskey over the winter as well. Could you Slogan says, given the tremendous versatility of the potato, what is your favourite variation? I will accept crisps as answer. Crisps are pretty good. I think roast potatoes done right beat anything. I think chips done right are nice, but I think roast potatoes done the right way are absolutely banging. With a nice gravy, I think roast potatoes, they've got to be right though. They can be close and not quite there. And, close and not quite there, you might get beaten by proper chips. But mashed potato, relegation zone for me. It can be nice, but you're not really there. Boiled potatoes, oof, you're League One. What do you think of Trump visiting Buckingham Palace, says Aaron Fitzgerald. Again, it's too political for me. I don't really give a shit. I really don't. I've switched off from politics, and some people think that's really irresponsible to do that. But when you haven't got a voice, what's the point? And that sounds really, really negative and defeated. But we are not getting a voice in this country at all from the political parties. So I choose to disengage and, not give them my time, to be honest. So with regards to Trump visiting this country, I think the protests about it, the people who are protesting about it obviously have their reasons. The people who don't have a problem with it obviously have their reasons. But I suppose it's a bit like charity, really. Charity begins at home, doesn't it? So moaning about an American leader who's elected by the American people coming to visit our country, maybe we should start moaning about what's going on in our own country first before we start moaning about people visiting it. That's my thought. What do you make of the takeover story for Newcastle? Bit football related, that. Would you do reality TV if asked, says Martin Potter? Probably not. Probably not. I think I'd find it very, very hard to do reality TV. I think I'd get very bored very, very quickly. What are the pros and cons of living in a city like London? And if you never lived in London, what about the UK in general, says Yusuf? I've never lived in London. I lived in Dublin, which is a capital city. I do visit London a lot, and I do like the vibe of it. The pros of it would be, I think when you live in a capital city, when I lived in Dublin, and I have lived in other cities, there just seems to be a different feel to it. There's an atmosphere to it, which is absolutely fantastic. And you feel like you're part of something. You feel like your finger's on the pulse. I suppose the negative of it is that it's a very fast-paced life, and it can eat you up. I suppose you can get exhausted by it. I suppose I don't know. Maybe I didn't answer that one as well as I would like. And Wales or Scotland, says Gethin Rees Proctor. I suppose I should say Wales because you've got such a Welsh name. I've been to Wales. I've never been to Scotland, so I would like to go there. Have you ever given people a second chance, says Libban? I've given loads of people a second chance, and I think you should try and always give people a second chance. Unless it's something absolutely vile that you can never forgive, I think second chances for most things are... everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And again, we can't be literal here and say, well, somebody's done something with your dog. You don't need to give them a second chance if somebody's evil, but... I think if somebody makes a mistake in the sense of, maybe they lied to you about something or something like that, then, not everyone's like that, but I do think a second chance. I have given people a lot of second chances. I'm watching the Cricket World Cup. Not at this point. I think if England get to the latter stages, I probably will. I'll keep an eye on it at the moment, but I don't sit and watch it. It's a long-form game to watch, really. I've never watched Sons of Anarchy, Dylan Edwards, and I think I probably should because I know loads of people over the years have said it's really good. Anyway, I'm going to close it there because I've spoken for way too long, but I need to start bringing this back. A lot of people have been saying what's going on with this channel. It's just gone really busy with United Stand at the moment, so I've sort of had to unwillingly stop doing content on here, but I want to get going for Goldbridge back over the summer. The podcast I really enjoyed on a Friday, but it's just hard to commit to that with what's going on this summer, so it will certainly come back, but it's probably going to come back in September, the podcast, but certainly be going to try and go for Goldbridge once a week again. So please do subscribe if you're new, smash a like on video, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.